back over to the analyst desk to break down CLG's win.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I have a dumbfounded desk here in front of me after RNG gets taken down for the first time this tournament.
Spawn was so happy for like 37 minutes.
I didn't even say
like
anything.
37 minutes.
I am still so happy because this was the perfect RNG game. They showed exactly what makes them beautiful and exactly why they cannot win best of one.
You realize this is RNG versus World Elite in the semifinal of LPL all over
this
again.
game had
all
everything.
over again.
CLG almost died to the Rift Herald early on in the game as well.
That was true, yeah.
This was the most NA LPL game I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness, high action. I mean, the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, we just saw early skirmishes, kills all over the board.
Can we put to bed, by the way, that Nidalee is no longer an S-tier jungler in this meta because MLXG was just, I think at one point he was 2,000 above
No one ever said she was an S tier.
Yeah.
We just said that when you want to play a teamfight late game, you take Kindred or whatever above.
And also,
we got to show how the comeback happened.
Exactly. But I will say, I think we could very safely say that MLXG's handle on that champion is superior to the rest of the players in this tournament. But I want to get back to what Jat was just saying. We need to take another look at how this game turned around because RNG had such control over it, and then the base fight happened into the dragon fight. So let's walk back through this because, as Kobe mentioned, small margin for error, but if that error occurs, you put CLG right back into this game.
I pretty much just want to see these fights again because it definitely felt like RNG was playing with their food a little bit. Like they were toying with CLG for a lot of this and could have probably closed it out had they decided to play methodically and cleanly, but they didn't. They disrespected the late game team comp, and CLG made them pay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as soon as we can get here they are right now. This fight here, Huhi, the failed engage
totally
first.
With the combo.
Yeah, so he's supposed to go to full duration with the Soul and then knock people back here.
And
misses it.
flash backwards,
so
yeah.
it's a poor start, but he's actually baiting out a few cooldowns. I'm going to say baiting out a few cooldowns.
But like,
look at the Sean here. Look at the Sean. Just wait for him to land the crucial stun. It comes here onto Whoosh. Wait for him. Into the small rock in the base. Now Whoosh is dying. That's the 80 carry
which is
down.
weird because he has a QSS and there's a Mikhail's on
But it's Whoosh.
But he doesn't use
Who's
those,
not playing
those
Twitch.
spells. And then the Zed did finish off Huhi, but now that it's an 80 carry versus an assassin and the 80 carry's fed enough to knock out one shot, they can actually turn it around. They landed another binding onto the Nidalee, who wasn't respecting that, and with the Mikhail's being gone, and they go straight into the dragon fight now.
Yeah, and so RNG, they're like, okay, 5th dragon, that's still our win condition, but Smithy able to
Gorgeous
get the great ultimate down, and they pick Marta at the same time, so all of a sudden it's a 4v5. MLXG may as well be out, and RNG still disrespect their opponents because they're still fighting this, and MLXG even still goes in at the end of this team fight.
But look at that ulti. Not only from Smithy, he's trying to get one kill to maybe delay a little bit of time here, and he realizes he probably can't get out.
You want to talk about
You're really angry about that?
No, so what I'm actually angry about, like, for those that don't know, is that the LPL has a tendency to take people lightly in games that don't mean all of that much. I'm not going to use the term, but everyone knows what the heck I'm talking about. However, going into a best of 5, that gives a team confidence. If CLG are like, we just out-team fought RNG, you never want to give something to your opponents when you have to play them again in a couple of days in what is a best-of-5 series. That is just stupid.
Sure, I mean, obviously CLG can learn a lot from this game because of how crazy the early game was as well, but we gotta keep in mind, RNG's composition couldn't teamfight late game. So even though they made mistakes, clearly, and were ahead in gold and everything, you do not teamfight with Nidalee.
They had triple inhibitor down.
I know,
Dragon
that's not
5
a
up in a minute, though.
Yeah,
all right.
Hold on,
guys. I do want to make sure that everyone gets heard here, so Jat, jump in.
Yeah, I think I had a lot to say before the comeback was going to happen because I thought this was actually going to be a really good display of RNG saying, okay, we're not just going to play the slow teamfight game. Let's speed our tempo up and let's crush someone early game. And they absolutely did that. And CLG got trapped playing 2 losing lanes against a Nidalee jungle. So they were actually screwed in a lot of ways because they were expecting a slow methodical teamfight comp and they got run over by assassins. But they kept their heads because CLG has amazing teamwork and faith in themselves, so they're able to come back at the very end.
And if we are going to point out a couple players, I mean, we already saw in there Smithy's awareness to ult the dragon and then get the smite secure after the ult times out. But Stixay is the player that I really want to point to because even in those early stages of the game when we were watching things go in RNG's favor, he was the one who was finding ways to pick up a kill here and there and get himself to that fed state that in that team fight, when the door was opened, he could walk through it.
I mean, I definitely agree. He's playing extremely well in these fights here. And I think we have to highlight him as a player, but I think Dashawn as well deserves a lot of praise in this game because his Poppy in these extremely... No, wait for it. In this
His late game teamfighting Poppy is definitely
yes,
good.
and when against SKT, it was the exact same deal. They were behind again to late game teamfights, and then key targets. He's actually very good at finding that one guy, smacking him into the wall. He did it with Mata in the Dragon fight, took him out first. Did it with Vush here. He did it with Faker yesterday. Like, I know it's obviously Stixxay who's getting all the kills and, you know, the big highlights. But Dashon is just kind of running around these fights on this little Poppy and finding the key targets.
And, you know, both teams kind of achieved their goals out of this game. CLG proved that they can late-game teamfight. RNG did prove that they can build a 20,000 gold lead before 35 minutes in the game. Even though CLG won that game, I don't think they want to replicate it and try and do it again in the future. So, you know, it was a strange game.
We got everything.
Yeah, was it 20,000 gold?
It was close.
It was close.
I'm going to say 17,000.
Okay, there it is.
17,000.
All right. Well, regardless, we're still reeling a bit from that win, and I'm sure the players are themselves. Right now, we've got Shock standing by with 2 members of the victorious Counterlogic Gaming. So let's send it over to have their thoughts.
Thank you very much, standing by with Stixxay and Xmithy after CLG pull out that seemingly unwinnable game. And I saw your faces here, surprised when we said 17,000 gold deficit. And you said, well, I mean, we were winning the whole time, but honestly, how did it feel to play that game, and what did you have in mind knowing that you have a chance to come back, but it is small?
Yeah, starting from the early game, we pretty much got boned. And all we wanted to do was like try to get to late game. And we just wanted to out-team fight them because we have a better, superior team comp. We just wanted to get it to late game so that everyone has their items and everyone can fight them.
How much were you caught off guard by the fact that they drafted this very assassin-heavy composition? Was there no room to pivot anymore in the picks and bans?
Well, I think we know that their mid laner likes to play like a lot of assassins and stuff like that. But we picked like a really, really strong team fighting comp, and obviously like we were able to show it like later on in the game. Even though we were super far behind, we were just still able to team fight and win the game.
It was insane. It was seemingly unwinnable. Xmithy, I want to ask you about that Dragon Kindred ult. Talk to me about your presence of mind at that time to do that and what the communication was like after.
Well, when I was starting to play Kindred, it was like a few months ago. Like I would play like in solo queue, and like I've seen one guy like did that to me actually. Like he did that to Baron, and then I'm like, holy, I can do that actually. So I've been trying to practice that, like doing that mostly in scrims and like sometimes like in tournaments. So yeah.
So yeah, easy. Just did that here and won the game versus the undefeated RNG. At what time in the game did you try and see, or sensed rather, that RNG was becoming a bit cocky? We saw the Lich Bane on Nidalee, of course. Did you notice anything in their gameplay that made you think, okay, this is our go time?
I think it was after the base fight when they were like going like super ham in our base, and then Darshan stunned their Lucian, and he kept actually had really bad positioning. He kept going for me every fight. I knew that they were getting like really cocky, really greedy. And then after we won that fight, I knew that they could no longer like 5v5 us. And so we were like really confident that we could just pretty much win every fight, and that's what we did.
That is what you did. There are a couple of things that you guys have proven here to the viewers, to your fans overall. First of all, that team fighting, not that you had horrible team fighting before. Do you feel that you have, that you're rising to another level with this team fighting in this tournament?
Yeah, I don't really recall that we were like really bad at team fighting, even like in LCS. It was just like we were more superior on other aspects of the game that we take advantage of that. And then we really didn't take in mind that we need to make like a team fight death ball comp until like maybe like in playoffs.
Yeah, and that's what you did now. Talking about proving things to people, of course, Stixxay, when I talked to you a couple of days ago, we already mentioned the fact that you're always under harsh criticism on one side and then a lot of praise from the community. How important is it for you to prove that to the people, or is it more about showing that CLG can win something?
Well, of course it's important to show that I myself am good, but obviously I want like what's best for the team. So honestly, I think right now people are giving way too much credit to me, not enough to my teammates. Like for example, Darshan's team fighting is actually insane on Poppy. Afro's peeling everything off me. So I'm getting a lot of credit, but it's a lot of my teammates as well.
All right, well, fantastic answer at that. Then finally, securing that first seed at Worlds for NA and securing your spot in the semifinal here. So I gotta know, what do you think your course will be? Who would you like to meet? And what are your chances of playing that final, Xmithy?
Well, yeah, our main goal is probably just to win MSI, hopefully. And then that's what we've been striving for. And we just wanted to win everything, I guess.
Is there anyone you definitely not want to see in the semifinals? Of course, SKT with that dodgy position now in fourth.
Yeah, probably SKT. I think they're really good in like a best of series format, and I think they're also bouncing back.
Darshan said in the interview with him, yeah, we're aiming for top 2. Now I hear CLG can win MSI, Smithy.
Sure.
Sure, I know, I'm trying to bait you here. You are being careful, but still humble. Thank you guys very much. What a fantastic victory for CLG. Whew, I'm running completely out of words. We're going to take a quick break because after that we have our last game of the day with Supermassive taking on world champion SK Telecom. Don't go anywhere.
For now, the LPL does own the Rift in their hometown. Tiger catching you. Darshan taking him down though. Taking away the damage is just enough. And in goes MLXG.
CLGers are making a move towards the mid lane.
Stixay did get a spear.
Oh my God!
In comes everyone. Xiaohu with the first kill. Lambs are spied a bit too late. And RNG snapped the jaws shut on the trap. And CLG are melting. He will go down anyways, and Xiaohu, they collapse. A double kill for Xiaohu now, looking for Darshan for cleanup duty. Just blinding from Africa! They find MLXG, and that is the miracle play that keeps CLG alive.
Yo, down on dragon. Yeah, I'm in exact. I got it. Nice. Listen. I love this. Nice. Get that. I got one base. Go. I boxed him again. I'm going on Lucian. I bound Lucian. I bound Lucian. He's dead. Fucking kill him.